What's happening, Wargamers? Welcome to another, I guess, unboxing, first thoughts on new stuff here. And the studio was lucky enough to have AMG send a copy of the Sunspot and Warlock box for the New Mutants, coming out, I believe, sometime in September. Very excited to take a look at this one because it is, I think Sunspot was kind of one of the standout characters for me from Mini Stravaganza. So very, very excited about that one. Taking a look at the back, I don't think there's going to be any real surprises in here. Although, actually, 5 Team Tactics cards. I think that's a little bit more than we saw. I'm not 100% sure, though. We got some token sheets, obviously, because we're going to get some tokens for Sunspot himself, the characters, bases, all that sort of stuff. So let's crack it open and see what's in here. Hopefully, looking for a little bit of surprises. Now, I'm going completely off memory here, so if something is not necessarily new, I might not quite remember that one, but we're going to take a look at everything in here regardless, just because that's what this video is. We are taking a look at fun stuff. So no special base on this one, it looks like, which, I mean, I don't mind that. We're getting our medium-sized base, which I believe is for Sunspot here, and our regular base is for Warlock. Cool. No notes. As far as assembly goes, I actually gotta say, this is a lot simpler than I thought. Sunspot, very, very simple body assembly, 5 pieces plus a head. And then he's got like the cool little impact crater, his fire that's propelling him. Very cool in that regard. I'm looking forward to painting that up in that one. As for Warlock, again, very simple, actually. Like, we don't have a whole lot going on. We got the 2 pieces of the torso there. We got, like, the limbs, the legs. And it looks like, do any of these actually... Yeah, so it looks like whatever these pieces are, they're part of the legs, I think. They have... Yeah, they're going to be pieces that have to attach somewhere. And I think they might just attach to themselves. Oh, maybe that's like the... Maybe that's like a... Oh, this is like his spinal column or something like that. Okay. Very simple to assemble, though. It doesn't look like there's going to be too many problems there. Let's take a look at the rest of this, though. And, this is going to be one of those things where we're not going to go into too much depth on this. We're just kind of taking a quick peek at the early models here. So we got our tokens, which are the... I can't remember what Sunspot calls these tokens here. I keep wanting to go with momentum, but I don't think that's what it is. It's flare tokens. So we got our flare tokens right there. I like them stylized X for New Mutants. We're going to take a look at the cards in just a second. But first, we're going to take a look at whatever tactics cards we have here. So let's get those sorted down here. So first off, we have New Mutants. We knew about this one. This is the leadership here. It is for magic, basically, Ileana Rasputin. I do like that it's the alter ego, which means if we do get another magic, as long as she has the same one on there, you can give her this leadership still. And I'm actually really stoked about this leadership. If an allied character is targeted by an enemy attack after it's resolved, so there's no requirement of damage being done or anything like that, choose another allied character within range 3 of it. They pay 1 power, and they basically get to be... choose another one. If they spend power on it, they then get to be placed within range 1 of the target. Very cool. I love it. Even this gives so many splash potentials for it. There's already been some speculation of who's going to be a New Mutant. I know Magneto's come up a lot. Even if he's not a New Mutant, I love this for Magneto. I'm going to try it down as soon as I can on that one. But this is great for anyone who has like a taunt or a bodyguard, because it's going to make it really hard to get those double taps into certain characters. Great way of getting them up the board, like a Colossus or a Honey Badger up the board. Really kind of cool. Or even a character that has like some sort of like aura that's going to mess things up. It'd be really neat to kind of like put Loki, original Loki in here, who has that wonderful like root bubble and a root hex bubble. So yeah, lots of really cool potential with the New Mutants here. Next up, okay, so we got Survive the Night. I think this is a new one here, actually. After the attack is resolved, push the target away short. It's a... okay, so what is it? It's reactive. After attack targeting an allied New Mutant's character is resolved, the target character the targeted allied character may play this card. Choose another allied character within 2 of the targeted character. The chosen character immediately makes the attack shown above. So range 3, 5 dice, 0, and it is with just a push away. So there's no conditions to it. Just push that person away. I kind of like this. It's a nice little bit of control. Does it always make the 5? Don't know. Does it make the 10? I think there's there's an argument for it making the 10. If you happen to be playing hammers and somebody can get extra attack dice on there, I think there's something really cool for it. For some reason, now I'm actually thinking about Weapon X in New Mutants, so, that's kind of cool right there. Yeah, simple card. I like it. I think there's some good play there. We have Practice Round up next. This is a reactive New Mutants card. When an allied character rolls its dice, the result contains no crit results. The character may play this card. The character that played this card may reroll any number of its dice, including crit or fail results. That's really cool. I don't quite think it's as good as, like, say, a recal where you're rerolling like any of the extra dice from the crit results, but giving you an extra attempt to get a whole bunch of, like, to just change the dice and it only being yours, and the fact that it's free, that's actually really kind of cool. I like that card a lot. I think that's going to see some interesting play right there. This is actually a really cool bit of dice fixing, especially if you're using it on a big spender. Yeah. I think that's a cool card. Perfect round, or practice round. We got Tomorrow's Soldiers. I believe this is one that was showcased. When an allied New Mutants character is dazed or KO'd, another allied New Mutant character plays this card. All non-dazed allied New Mutant characters gain 2 power. Cool. I like it. I think if you're playing New Mutants, this probably goes in. Mostly because that's 2 free power for a bunch of New Mutants at no cost. I see no problems with this. Then we got Self-Help. This is an unaffiliated reactive. When an allied warlock is dealt damage by an attack, after the attack is resolved, he may spend 2 to play this card. The attacking enemy character and all characters within 2 of it gain poison. Then warlock gains 1 power for each character with the poison special condition within 3 of them. Okay, that is actually kind of interesting. I think poison is one of those conditions that gets not really thought about a whole lot. So this is a cool one. Does it make the 10? I don't know. It's probably a little bit more cute than effective. But I think that's a really interesting card. It's a good way of powering up Warlock himself, and just putting the conditions that's a little bit of a nuisance onto the enemy player. So I think there's some cool stuff there. So let's take a look at the cards. And both of these have been shown off by AMG at this point, so nothing should be a real surprise here. But we got Sunspot, 3/4/3. He's 6 health. I think he's 6 on both. Yeah, he's 6 on both sides here. He's a 4 threat, size 2, medium move. Very cool. He's got the UV strike, range 2, 5 dice. It's your typical builder attack. It's got a wild hit heating up, which will give him a flare token. And as you'll learn, like, a lot of his stuff is based off these flare tokens here. He's got this Dark Solar Blast, range 3, 7 dice for 3 power. Wild hit, thermokinetic concussion. After the attack is resolved, other characters within 2 of the target character suffer 1 damage. And anyone that suffered damage this way does not gain power for it. And it also does not damage himself with this particular one. Because it is within 2 of the target character, which he could be within 2 of. So he's got some built-in protection against that. Having said that, it will still hit allies. We got High Energy Conversion, which is a 2 power active superpower. Choose an interactive terrain feature within 2 of size equal to or less than the number of flare tokens, and throw it short. You can have 3 flare tokens. You can throw a size 3 piece of terrain. Anytime you got throws, extra little bit of damage, gotta love it. It's great. And he's got good ways of getting the flare tokens on here. We got Sunburn, which is a 2 power active ability. It's an action. Advance its speed. If it has 3 flare tokens, it's going to go long instead of medium. Awesome. If I'm reading this correctly, I believe this will also override slow. So if he's slowed, but you have the 3 tokens, he's going to go long. We'll have to see how that shakes out in the rules for him, but that's how I kind of read it. He also gains flight as part of it. And after advancing, he immediately makes an attack action. It is just an attack action, so it can be the UV Strike or the Dark Solar Blast. Cool, love it. You got those choices right there. We got Thermokinesis. Before rolling attack dice, you can use a superpower. Spend 1 or more flare tokens to add 1 die to the attack roll for each flare token. And if you've spent any flare tokens on it, the target character is going to gain Incinerate. Very cool, no notes. Then, of course, we got Flare State. So if after this character ends a movement, it gains 1 flare token. Let's be really clear here. Everything that moves the character is a movement. So that's move actions, places, advances, pushes, throws. Those are all movements. And it's not a move action. So anytime this guy is getting moved around the table, he is getting a flare token. Very easy to get him, especially with the New Mutants leadership. If you would become dazed or KO'd, this character may basically spend all its flare tokens, and it's going to deal 1 damage to all enemy characters within X of it equal to the number of flare tokens then that you spent on it. So this is a great way. Basically, you daze him. If he's got 3 flare tokens, he's just going to do a flat 3 damage to a bunch of characters around him. And just enemy characters on top of that. So really cool. I got no notes on Sunspot. I'm actually really excited about using him. And I don't believe anything really changes on his injured side. Next up, we got Warlock. Warlock's a very interesting one. I think there's some cute play with him. Whether or not he's competitive, that's for a bigger brain than myself. 3/3/4 for his defenses, 5 stamina, 3 threat, size 3, medium move. Cool. I dig that stat line for a 3 threat character. Nothing changes on his backside for that one. We have the TO Talons, which is a range 2, 5 dice attack. It is your typical builder attack with a wild infection, which is going to be bleed and poison. Both nuisance conditions. I really dig it. Range 2 is a bit of a shame, but yeah, very cool. We got the Buster Cannon, range 4, 5 dice. It is a gainer attack. It's got a wild shock. Very basic at that range 4, though. That's kind of nice. Just hand down that shock on a wild. For his spender, it is self must protect self friend, range 3, 7 dice, 4 power. When creating a dice pool for this, you can choose an interactive terrain feature up to size 3 or less within range 3. Basically, you can add dice equal to the size and you destroy that terrain feature as a result. I love it. I think that's really cool. That's a very easy way of getting a 10 die attack for 4 power. I think it's awesome. And then you have a wild throw on it, a size 3 wild throw that you throw something away short. I think this is a great spender. Honestly, for 4 power, I think it's fantastic. You can really get a big dice pool for it. Really cool. We got Techno Organic Absorption for 2 power. Choose an interactive terrain feature within range 3, size 3 or less. Destroy it. Remove damage equal to the terrain feature size. It's going to make them obnoxious to take down, especially if you don't get a chance to double tap them. We got Transmode Virus Infection for 2. This character and enemy characters within 2 of this character with the poison special condition suffer 2 damage. So note that he is going to suffer 2 damage. It's not if he's poisoned, he will suffer 2 damage for this. But yeah, it's really kind of cool. You choose the order in which everything resolves on that one. If you need to do 2 more damage, great way of doing it, but it's also just a great bit of splash damage. If you're playing on like an E or C-shaped map where everyone's kind of bunched up, this is a great way of just doing a whole bunch of damage, just shared around and cause some issues that way. Then we have Unstable Outline when this character is defending against a physical or energy attack and not within 3 of this character may add 1 die to its defense rolls. So if you're outside of range 3, you're basically becoming a 4/4/5 defensive. You add that to cover or anything like that, he becomes a really tanky actually. And then with great ways of sort of healing himself up, and then he's immune to bleed and poison. So where do we see these 2 guys? I like Sunspot and Shield. I think Shield has a bunch of tactics cards and abilities that are really good for moving characters around. I think there's a lot of really good play in, I think you could probably throw them into X-Men if you want to use things like Field Leader or any of the various X-Men cards like To Meet My X-Men. Sam Vengers, where you can potentially be moving him around whenever they're not, or an allied character is getting dazed. Basically, he's all about just building up those flare tokens and just being really explosive. And I think there's some really cool play for that, just kicking around everywhere for it. And then, of course, anything that you can do some dice manipulation to just make his attacks that much more effective. So yeah, I think Sunspot's going to be really cool to play around with. Warlock is a little bit trickier one. He definitely wasn't on a lot of people's bingo cards here. I think he's going to be deceptively good once people kind of wrap their heads around him. I think he's going to be very tanky, very hard to deal with if you just keep him on a back point on a Scoundrel or something like that, where he's going to be getting the extra dice outside of range 3. He's going to be just eating some terrain to kind of build him back up. I kind of dig him in Brotherhood. Like, sure, he's eating terrain that Magneto wants to throw, but he's also potentially, destroying terrain on as in just another way of powering up your team as well, which I think is really kind of cool. So yeah, I really kind of dig Warlock on this one. I think he's got some interesting places that you might be able to play him, and it's just going to be a matter of really kind of figuring it out. So there we go. That's Sunspot and Warlock. So thanks a lot to AMG for sending these to the channel. Appreciate it quite a bit, and really happy to kind of give you guys this early look at it. I think a couple of the tactics cards might have been new. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Let you guys just judge for yourself on that one. But yeah, if you like this type of comment, hit me up in the comments. Let me know, and we will see you next time. Happy wargaming.